Nick, talk us through your thinking. How do we anticipate these sorts of attacks will take place?
Yeah, I think it'll be, steady and over time here. What we saw at the beginning of the conflict was that Russia, Ukraine, and neighboring countries kind of pointed their gaze at each other and away from European countries and companies in the U.S. And what we're starting to see now, after what was a bit of a lull in 2022, is a resurgence of activity here in 2023 as folks start to use their time and energy and resources on targeting, both European companies and U.S. companies in kind as they continue to work on and evolve their strategy in region.
I think what's interesting for me, Nick, is I know the activity specifically around the war in Ukraine was high at the beginning of the year and was present, but actually there is some data suggesting that ransomware attacks originating from Russia in particular have decreased. Why is that?
Yeah, I think right now they're focused primarily on their defenses with the Ukraine and what they need to do to win their current war. And what I think we're seeing as it relates to businesses is an increase. And I think the reason for that is because while a lot of the nation state actors are focused on, quite frankly, each other, we're seeing that the smash and grab type bad actors have to find a way to make money and have to find a way to support their livelihood, and they're doing so through a resurgence of activity into the European markets and the U.S. markets, and we're seeing that both through our core business in companies trying to find ways to bolster their security defenses and their security posture, but also in activity as it relates to incidents and incident response.
Nick, any types of companies in particular where the vulnerabilities are most acute or the worries are most pernicious? I mean, assuming it's utilities, energy companies, but where else might not we think of?
Yeah, utilities, energies companies, healthcare organizations, financial institutions. Unfortunately, we're seeing activity really across the board, and it's for a variety of different reasons. And those reasons are, sometimes unknown until, after the fact. But I really don't think that there's any, industry or business that's immune to, the threat of cyber activity or cyber warfare. And, us as a business at Arctic Wolf, our whole business is around ensuring that we can, end cyber risk for our customers and help to stabilize the environment for the market wholesale.
One of the tools that the United States has utilized in conjunction with allies is sanctions. And those have been largely to disrupt the movement of money across borders. But I wonder, how do sanctions fit into the cybersecurity realm, Nick?
Yeah, I don't think it plays as strong of a role, just given the nature of the way in which ransomware and these bad actors, make their money. A lot of this is being done through ransomware payments, through cryptocurrency, and unfortunately, there aren't strong mechanisms to be able to track that down, and/or place sanctions and things like that against it.
Nick, this might be a tough question, and forgive me if it's out the remit, but one of the stories really focused on when this first erupted was, of course, the human side of all of this, and in many ways, also the talent side. In particular, Ukraine, phenomenal developers. Companies had big teams there in many instances. What about the talent flow out of Russia? Have we seen the really keen developers and some of those that are incredibly good at cyber hacking as well? Are they still there? Are they present? Have any left?
Yeah, I think certainly we've seen evidence that quite a few have left, and they're starting to form alliances with other folks that they might have known either in Russia or otherwise as part of a previous group. And certainly, I think that's also why we're starting to see changes in the way in which the countries are operating, with or against each other. So there's in some ways a talent shortage for the nation states as it revolves around cyber, both on the defensive and on the offensive. And I think as those groups kind of start to reemerge and as they start to get back together, we're going to see that they're leveraged both as part of what's happening with the nation states, but we're also going to see that they begin to operationalize and get stronger with regard to their day-to-day, which is to attack European and U.S. entities.